So this is actually the second time I've tried to do this video. The first time it all came out to about 25 minutes long, and I figured that very few people are actually going to make it that far into a video with me talking about drums. My wife certainly wouldn't, so I don't really see why anyone else would. There are a few things that I would love to be able to maybe buy at some point, although I figured out in doing this video, well, doing the last video, that my wish list does sort of comprise of 3 levels, and that would be the first level would be wish list that's just probably going to stay there, wish list that I might end up buying at some point, and wish list, yeah, I will get at some point. Despite the fact that you know, clearly I have issues, as one of my mates keeps reminding me, I actually found this really difficult, and I spent a couple of days on and off thinking about this particular subject, and there was actually a lot less than you might think. To start off, kits. Anyway, as you might have seen, I've been on a little bit of a Tama kick recently. The Star Reserve line. Obviously, I've managed to pick up the 3 snare drums that they've issued so far. They haven't done any kits, but the Star line as a whole, I am rather fascinated with. I reviewed a couple of additional snare drums from the Star line a couple of years ago, and I really like those. I can't see myself ever. I would love, as much as I would love a Bibinger or Maple Star kit, I think that's just going to be on the wish list that stays there. I could see myself possibly, if I had enough money, buying one of the Walnut kits. Primarily because I think they're a little bit cheaper, and also because I don't have a walnut kit, and I think that might be kind of fun. Say within the next 5 years, if I'm lucky enough to be able to afford it, I certainly would like to pick up a Star Classic kit, and I think something in just sort of traditional sizes, maybe with a 20 or a 22-inch kick drum. I'm not quite sure. But that'd be nice, and a nice sort of, maybe in a sort of wood fade finish, that'd be quite cool. My ideal sizes for kits would be, well, out of choice would be 10, 12, 14, 16. At the moment, I would say still a 20-inch bass drum, but the last 3 kits I've picked up have all had 22s, and I've got to admit, apart from the odd gig where I've used my Birch Custom Absolute, which is a 20, I've been mostly playing 22s in here, and it's been quite fun. So I'm finding an affection for those again after probably about 15 years of not really playing 22s at all. I think another obvious kit would be Craviotto in the aforementioned sizes. Maybe not in Maple though, maybe in something else, Cherry, or you know, something else, but I don't dislike my Craviotto kit, obviously, but if I'd have chosen the sizes for that kit, it would have been the ones I just mentioned. I don't think I ever would have chosen 13, 14, 16-inch toms. They're quite large for me. Although, having said that, they sound great and they play great too. So I'm obviously not going to complain. That kit's going to be with me for life. Yeah, 10, 12 mounted toms, maybe even an 8 actually. I think if I had a bucket list of kits, an old Ludwig kit would be on there, and Green Sparkle. I've never been much of a fan of John Bonham or anything like that, so I've got no influence in that respect, but certainly a nice old Ludwig Green Sparkle kit, that would be absolutely fantastic. Snare drums. Now, I actually had to think about this long and hard, and so much so that I even wrote it down. But in no particular order, the Canopus Zelkova drum. I actually reviewed a couple of these many years ago, and I did a 5.5 and a 6.5, and they are fantastic drums, and I think that's definitely a bucket list drum for me. So I'm sure I will buy one at some point. I've always managed to put it off, but I think the one thing that does put me off them is the bloody awful strainer that they put on it. I just don't understand why you would go to that much trouble of making that drum, and if you're not familiar with the Zelkova, look it up and see how they make them. It's basically the shell's bored out of a chunk of wood, and it's not steam bent or anything. It's literally one piece of wood. I don't know why they put this cheap, disgusting, horrible, crappy strainer on such a nice and expensive as well. They're not cheap drum, you know. But if I do get a Zelkova, I will be putting either a Donette or a trick strainer on, or maybe actually maybe an AK. Actually, that might work as well. But something more elegant than the cheap piece of shit that they have on it. Right, next up. Right, so a few years ago, I got offered a Craviotto 14 by 6.5 timeless timber maple snare drum. And much to my, I'm still bummed about it now. Actually, I wasn't able to raise the cash to basically afford it, and there's only 5 of them, so I think the chances of me actually being in a position to buy another one are probably slim. So we'll put that in the middle bracket. I'll buy it if I ever have the chance. The Sabian DW Edge drum. Now, my buddy in Aussie, yo Dave, actually has one of these drums, and I saw one a couple of years ago at the London Drum Show as well. I haven't played it, but the thing just looks damn fine to my eye, and I love the concept behind it. A Benny Greb, the Benny Greb signature from Sonar, just because I think that's another one that I probably would buy at some point. I was going to try and buy one a few years ago, and for some reason I didn't, and I can't quite remember why. The Peisty Spirit of 2002. Last year I was very kindly loaned one of the other later Peisty snare drums. That was a cracking drum, but I think for me it's the same with the Tama Bell Brass. I've had a lifelong interest in that particular drum, and whilst not quite a lifelong interest in the Spirit of 2002 drums, because they came out way after I started playing, I have the same sort of fascination with those drums. I don't know why, but a 14 by 5.5 Spirit of 2002 Peisty snare drum would be awesome. Whether or not I would buy one, I think that's the middle category. If I had a couple of grand, because I think they probably are about, well, they're probably at least £1,000, between 1 and 2,000 quid. They're not cheap drums, but I think to have one would be rather cool. Okay, so there's another Craviotto snare drum which I came across recently, which admittedly I'm not going to go into details of, but there is a Craviotto drum out there. If I can work something out with the owner, I will do. And as I said, I'm not going to go into any deep details about it, but there's a snare drum out there that I would desperately love. I think if Adrian Kirschler and Craviotto do any more work together, I will definitely be in on that. Tama Star Reserves, as I said in the last of those videos, I've kind of committed to the cause on that one. I think that's pretty much it, actually. As I said, I had to write this down because it was that much of a challenge to actually think of everything that I could possibly want to put on a wish list. But you know what? If I bought nothing for the rest of my life, I would still die a happy man. And I'm very grateful for everything that I have, so I don't want to appear greedy. And that's how I'm going to leave it. So thanks for watching. Hope that was a bit of fun, and I will see you in the next video.